So we're going to be looking at savings and investments, but we're also going to look a bit at loans, and then we're going to work a lot with percentages. So I'm going to put up some questions on the board here, and I just want you to try it. Like, just if you know the answer, we're going to read the question together. You try it if you know how to do it on the calculator, and then also feel free to put your hand up if you know, and then pop your answer in the chat. Okay. There's a few comments on the chat. While you guys will read the first 3 questions, I'm going to read the first some of the comments in the chat. So people are writing maths left, right, and center. Tomorrow, Monday. Woo. Yeah, it's that time of the term where everyone is going through tests and stuff. And then an analytical geometry is coming out in the paper that I'm writing on the 19th, but we did not start with it at school. Oh dear, maybe have a chat with your teacher. I wrote today, Unati says, I hope it went well. And Emilio has done some analytical geometry. So yeah, in about 2 weeks' time, we're going to be doing analytical geometry as well. So good stuff. It is always good to maybe have a first look at a topic at school, and then do the topic here with Watobe as well. Then you get like a second go at it. Okay. I am writing tomorrow. Okay, right. So let's have a look. Good luck to everyone who's writing, and I hope it goes well for you. And to those who have written, let us know. Don't be shy to brag. Put your marks in the chat if you've done well. We do like to have a little bragging session every now and again if we are happy with our marks. Okay, so whatever your marks are and you're happy with it, let us know. Right, so first up, we are going to increase 485 by 14%. How do we do that? Does anyone have an answer for that yet? Pop it in the chat if you do. Increase 485 by 14%. Pop it in the chat if you have an answer. Okay, guys, let's focus on our maths now. We are calculating these percentages. So I hope it goes well for everyone who's writing, but we've got to now practice our percentages and our maths. So let's do the first question. 485, we're going to increase by 14%. Pop it in the chat if you have an answer. Yes, give an answer, guys. Don't just write the calculation, but give the answer. Remember, we are increasing. So if we are increasing a number, we need to make it bigger. We can't give our answer 67,9 because that is that's not right. How can we be increasing 485 by 14% and come up with an answer of 67,9? There's something that you are forgetting to do. I'm seeing some more answers here. Okay, Vokile, you're on the money. And I think Pitleleko is also on the money. Well done. Yeah, guys, so we take the 485, and yes, we're going to work out what 14% of that is. 485 times 14 over 100. I'm sure is that number that you guys all got, the 67. So 485 times 14 over 100 is 67,9. But that's not my final answer. That's only 14% of 485. To increase 485 by 67 by 14%, I need to add the 67,9 to it. The answer must be bigger because we are increasing. So those who got Let's add 485 to that. 552.9. Okay. Yes, listen carefully, everybody. You are working out 14% of 485, but that is not your final answer. That 67.9 can't be your final answer because we have to increase 485 by that amount. So 67.9 still has to be added to 485 to get the final amount of 552.9. That's the right answer. Okay, give me a thumbs up in the chat if you know what's happening and if you're happy with that calculation. Good stuff, Emilio. Riachile, Nikki, Leah. Okay. Right, so there's almost 100 of us here. So when we ask for thumbs up, we want to see about 100 of those, okay? Right, now we're going to calculate 35% of 80. How do we do that? 35%. We're just calculating 35% of 80. Oh, we've got some hands here. Juliet, you can ask your question. Juliet, you have your hand up and you can ask your question.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. I thought the host was going to unmute me. Ma'am, can I please ask, when did we start this mixed percentages topic?
Just now.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Just now.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's our new topic. So if we are calculating 35% of 80, we're going to go 35 over 100 times 80. And what do we get? 35 divided by 100. We put the 35 over 100 because it is a percentage, and we times by 80, and that gives us the answer of 28. There we go. All right, so 35% of 80 is 28. Okay, let's go to question 3. And this, by the way, guys, is stuff you did in grade 9 and grade 8 and grade 7, so many years ago. So this is not new work, okay? This is just revisiting how we calculate with percentages. So let's have a look at 3. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to answer that one. And pop your answer in the chat when you have an answer. But give it a go, read carefully, and then pop your answer in the chat when you've calculated. Okay, so let's have a look. Some of you are saying it is 52. So what we need to do is we need to take 20% away from 65 because we are reducing it by 20%. So we go 65 times 20 over 100. I see quite a few of you got this one right. Times 20 over 100. That gives me 13. In this case, it's pounds. It doesn't really matter. And then we take that 13 away because the quote is being reduced by that 13. So 65 minus 13 gives me 52. Nice, Watobians. Quite a few of you got that. Right. Let's do question 4 and question 5, and then we're going to move on to some VAT calculations. Okay, let's see. I bought a bike for 120 pounds. 3 months later, I sold the bike for 150 pounds. What was my profit as a percentage of the original price? Guys, just check. I did write the answer down. You calculate 20% of 65 for the previous question. That gives you 13. And then you subtract from the 65 the 13. That gives you 52. Okay, let's go to question 4. And you guys try. I'm going to first give you some time to think about it. And then pop your answer in the chat, just like with the previous ones. Takolo's got an answer. He says it's 25. I wonder if that's right. Let's see some other answers. Some say 30, some say 25. If you're saying 30, I wonder how you got that. If you're saying 25, I wonder how you got that. It's not 30%, that I can tell you. Exactly, Zakile, I agree, it can't be 30. And I think some people are just now guessing. And that's never good in maths, eh? We don't guess. We think through. So first of all, we are going to calculate 150 minus 120. That is 30. Yep, that's right. But that is most certainly not 30%. That's 30 pounds. It's been reduced by 30 pounds. But we want to know by how much percentage it's been, what the difference is. By the percentage. We sold it for 30 pounds more. Okay, so Eunice says 0.9. Okay, so 30 pounds, we're going to say how much is that of the original amount? That's of 120. So we take the 30 of the original amount, which is 120, and then we work it out. 30 divided by 120 times 100 is 25%. That is the right answer. Bokamoso, you have your hand up.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry to disrupt you for a little bit, Nick. I just wanted to ask, so are we starting from the beginning, like how to calculate normal percentages or not? Because I'm making use of the formulas that I don't know what it's called in English, but in Afrikaans it's enkelvoudig en saamgestelde gerente. So I'm making use of that now. So I'm not quite sure how to do this one. I'm a bit lost.
Yes, we are starting from the very beginning with financial maths, which means we have to know how to calculate with percentages, and we will get to compound interest next week.
Okay, no problem. I'm writing about it this day, but it's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so right, let's go through that calculation again. We've got the difference in the price between 150 and 120. That's 30 pounds. And then we calculate that as a percentage of the 120, which is the original price, and times it by 100 to get the percentage, to get 25. Okay, can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Thumbs up if you understand that. Thumbs down if you need to look at that again. Hi, Inam, you have a question? Inam, quickly ask your question, please. Okay, he's gone. Right. So let's go on now to VAT calculations, because VAT calculations is something where we do work with percentage increases quite a lot. So, Bonolo, if you can't hear me, you need to maybe just leave and come back, and also use the button that says when you join the meeting, make sure you press join with computer audio. Okay. Right, so let's go on to VAT calculations. So, who knows what VAT is? You can tell me, what is VAT? Put your hand up if you know, or pop it in the chat if you want to tell us. What is VAT? Value added tax. Big words. What does it actually mean? And it's easy to read it off the slide as well. But who can tell me what VAT actually means? Where does it come from? Why do we even have it? Why are we even talking about it? And who pays VAT? Does anyone know? Who pays VAT and what do we pay VAT on? We pay. That's right, Lashandra, we pay VAT. Oh, I wish, Zaninkle, I wish that we could just add VAT to profit. Customers, yes, households, very nice. I see some people are maybe doing economics or business. It comes from SARS, yes, that's right. Okay, so that is something we all pay, unfortunately, and it is charged by the government. It's a type of tax, and it gets added onto everything you buy. There are only a few items that are VAT exempt. Now, let's see, those of you who are doing economics and accounting and all of that, does anyone know of a product that is VAT exempt? Meaning, which products do we not pay VAT on? There's only a few of those. Bread, nice, Boniswa, that's right. Mealie meal, that's right. And milk, yeah, that's right. All of those basic food ingredients, and some vegetables as well. Some vegetables we don't pay VAT on as well. Canned beans, etc. Yeah, some basic foodstuffs are VAT exempt. Okay, so we need to know how to calculate VAT. So here's an example. By the way, VAT is 15% for a while. Taco, I think we do pay VAT on Coke, I'm sorry. For a while, VAT was only 14%, but then a few years back, the Minister of Finance increased VAT, and now it is 15%. So 15% on everything you buy, that's VAT. That goes to the government. Okay, it doesn't go to the businesses, unfortunately, it goes to the government. Right, so the price of a laptop before VAT is 3,000. What is the price once VAT has been added? Okay, so the quick way that we can do it is written in this red bubble over here, if you want to have a read at it. So if we are adding VAT, So the price of anything that we are buying, so for instance, this laptop, that is 3,000 Rand, and that is 100%. And we're going to add 15% to it. So a quick, easy way to do it is to say the new price will be 115% of the old price because we've added the VAT to it. So what we can then do is divide the 115 by 100 and get 1,15. And then when we are adding VAT to anything, we can just times it by 1,15. So that's what we've done over here. And you can write this down as an example, is 3,000 times 1,15. That gives me the price of the laptop with VAT. So price of laptop with VAT. And the VAT portion of it, which is also an important part you need to understand, that is 450. Because do you see that the new price, 3,450 minus the old price is 4,050. And that is the amount of VAT that we are paying. Amount of VAT. So we have the VAT percentage, which is 15% that we add on, and then we have the amount of VAT that we pay, which is 14, which is the actual Rand amount that gets added. Okay, so here's two examples that I want you to do. I'm going to draw a bubble around them so that you know which ones they are. These questions in this bubble, I want you to calculate. A pair of jeans cost 149 Rand before VAT. So we're going to determine the price after VAT is added. Okay, give this first one a go. Let's see. Okay, now you need to be a bit more specific because it was quite a long explanation about that. And if you need to relook the whole thing, remember the recording will be available afterwards. So I won't be able to explain everything, but you can ask something more specific. Okay, pop your answer in the chat when you have calculated what is the price of a pair of jeans that costs 149 and we are adding VAT to it of 15%. You can follow the example straight as it is to help you. I can't scroll up too far. People need to see the questions. You can always take a screenshot later. Okay, 171.35. I can't scroll further than that. That way you can see the example and you can see the question. Right, Rachel. Rachel has a question. You can unmute. Rachel, I don't know why you're not able to unmute. Off you go. Just raise your hand again if you want to ask. Okay, so we're going to take for question one. I just need to move things around on my screen a little bit. For question one, we're going to say our quick and easy way to do it is we can say 149, which is the price without VAT, and we times it by 1,15. And what do we get? 149 times 1.15. That gives us 171.35. Okay, and then let's do one more where we are going to do the jacket. Pop your answer in the chat to calculate the jacket. The jacket cost $189 before VAT. So what is it going to cost after that? You guys are catching on quick. Well done. So you take the 189 times by 1,15. That's going to give you the, it's 189. 189 times 1.15. And that gives us 217.35. Okay, so there we go. Last calculation I just want us to do is how much VAT are you actually paying? So what is the VAT amount here? Pop it in the chat. That amount. So how much is the actual VAT portion? Nice, Nkilekita, that's right. Yeah, so we don't divide, we just check by how much has it increased actually in Rand. No, we are not dividing, guys. We've just done the first example, so just make sure you follow along and look in the right place, okay? So the VAT portion here is 171.35 minus 149, and that's 22.35. Okay, do the next one as well. What is the VAT amount? We are still just adding VAT and timesing by 1.15, okay? So how much VAT have we paid here? So we'll go 217.35 minus 189, and that's going to give us the VAT amount. $28.35. Okay, great stuff. Okay, so that's how to add VAT. And so we've covered some percentages, some percentage calculations, and some VAT calculations. So I'm not going to do the other one right now. We can come back to it if there's time at the end of the lesson. I do want us to get onto simple interest, which is something you guys have asked quite a bit about. Yes, iPhone K, what is your real name actually?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, what's your name? It just says iPhone K.
Yo, ma'am, I will change it. My name is Koketso.
Okay.
Yeah, my voice is currently unstable at the moment, but I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am, so I wanted to ask regarding the VAT thing, ma'am. I saw that you used 1,115, ma'am. But then when I look at it properly, that 1,115 was part of the example. So is that always going to be our VAT
you can
number
always
that
do
we're always
that.
going to use?
Yeah, you can always do that for VAT as long as VAT remains 15% and the government doesn't change it again. You can use the 1,15.
So we're basically using the original VAT number in South Africa. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's have a look at simple interest. So simple interest is something that we calculate when we are putting money away or if we are borrowing money. So in our school, in grade 10 and 11 and 12, you learn about simple interest and compound interest. So just put a thumbs up in the chat for me if you have learned simple interest before. Just put a thumbs up in the chat. I just want to see how many of you know simple interest. Okay. Most of you should, yeah, from grade 8 and grade 9. Definitely. So when we calculate simple interest, the reason it is really called simple interest, we do have a formula, but it's good to have formula, but it's also important to know how they work and what they mean, and how simple interest is different to compound interest. So I'm going to use a simple example of 100 Rand. So if you put 100 Rand away at 10% simple interest for 3 years. Okay, so you've started saving, and each year you put 100 Rand away and you get 10% simple interest, and you do that for 3 years. So let's just draw up a simple example here. So in year 1, you're going to get 100 Rand that you put away, and you're going to get interest. How much interest will you earn? 10% of 100 Rand is how much? Put it in the chat if you work it out. 10% of 100 Rand is how much money? 10% of 100 Rand is 10 Rand. That's right. You just go 0.1 times 100. So how much money have you got in total at the end of that year? Put it in the chat. At the end of that year, you've got the 100 you put away, you've just earned 10 Rand interest. So how much do you have at the end? 110. Okay. So year 2, you put another 100 Rand away. Now, your interest with simple interest is just going to be on the 100 Rand. If you were doing compound interest, then you would get interest on the total from the previous year. That's why compound interest is interest on interest. But if you're doing simple interest, you're still just going to get 10 Rand because you're putting 100 Rand away. And then how much money do you have at the end of your second year altogether? How much money do you have? 220. Okay. Now this is your last year, year 3. You decide that this is going to be the last time you save 100. Your interest at 10% is still going to be 10 Rand on the 100. And then how much money are you going to have altogether? 330. Okay, so do you notice, especially here, that your interest remains constant? It stays 10 Rand no matter how much money you have in the bank. But if you're doing compound interest, you're going to earn money, earn interest on all the money that you have in the bank. Okay, but when we get to compound interest, we'll do this example again and then you'll see. Okay. So we need to know our words and our terms for our formula. A means the accumulated amount, the amount that you have at the end. So in our example that we now did very manually here, which takes a long time, and we're not going to do it all the time, that is going to be our 330 is our accumulated amount. Then P is what you start with. That is how much money you put away. So that is the principal amount, the initial value that you put away. And then I is the interest rate, and N is the duration of your investment. So for us, that would have been 3 years. N would have been 3 years. I would have been 10%. P would have been 100. Okay, so let's now actually do this same example again, but now we use our formula and we say A is P1 plus I times N. And let's see if we get 330. Let's see if this math actually works, if it checks out. So P is what we put away at the beginning. And our interest rate is always as a decimal. Okay, so if our interest rate is 10%, we must write it as a decimal. Quickest way to write it as a decimal is to divide it by 100. Okay, that's going to give you 0,1. So 0,1. And how long did we put it in for? 3 years. That's our N. Now put that into your calculator and let's see what we get. We get 130. Okay, that's right. I also get 130. I think we maybe just made a mistake in our table somewhere. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yes, Bokamoso.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say, I'm not quite sure, but I think that by our first example, the mistake that we made is that we kept on adding 100. The 100 we put away like completely. So I think that the interest, which is now in
right,
is what was supposed to be added. The thing.
So that this is just on putting 100 away, 100 Rand investment. That's right. No, we don't. Not in this case. We don't convert years into months. Okay, that we're going to do when we get to compound interest. Okay, right. How are we looking for time? Okay, let's do this question. Yes, you must write 10% as a decimal. Okay, so let's do this one now, and I'll write the formula here again. A is P1 plus I times N. Okay, let's do the first one together. When he retired, Bill invested his lump sum of 80,000 Rand at 15% per annum simple interest. How much interest did he earn at the end of the year? So he invests his money for 1 year, but read carefully, okay? How much interest? So first we're going to say 80,000 times, and he's getting 15% interest, so 15 over 100. So this question is just asking about how much interest he is getting. So we're not going to use the full on because it's not asking how much money you have at the end or anything like that. Okay, so how much is that? Lunello says it's 12,000. Let's see, do other Watobians agree? Pop your answer in the chat. Tukono agrees. I also agree. He gets 12,000 Rand interest. Okay. Okay, let's go to question 3. Andili wants to buy a flat screen television. She takes out a loan of 6,500 Rand at 12% per annum for 2 years. Okay, so this is a new word if you don't know it yet. Per annum. Does anyone know what per annum means? You can pop it in the chat if you know what per annum means. It's per year. Nice. These Watobians are so smart. Per year. Okay, so she takes out a loan of 6,500 at 12% per annum for 2 years. So calculate the SI stands for simple interest. So let's calculate the simple interest first. So it's going to be 6,500 times 12 over 100 because that's our interest. And that's going to be for 2 years. That interest amount is going to be for 2 years. So what do we get? Pop your answer in the chat if you've got it. Be careful with those calculators, guys. Careful with those calculators. Remember, and also be careful how you read the question. We are only calculating the simple interest amount. That's right. If we do our calculations right, it's 1560. Good stuff. Now the question asks, what is the final amount? What is the final amount? There are two ways that you can do this. You can use our formula that we looked at the start, I times N, or you can just go 6,500 plus 1560. That will give you the final amount as well. Okay. So some of you can work it out with the formula, some of you can do it the other way, and we should all get the same answer. Pop it in the chat when you're done. Okay, and with both options, we should be able to get the same answer, 8060. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we are out of time this evening, so that's all we have time for. Some simple interest calculations, but we did a lot. We did some VAT, we did some percentages, and on Thursday we're going to do hire purchase, and I'll see you then. Okay, have a good